Hi everyone, and welcome to this episode of Creator in Conversation. It's going to be another special edition as we will be featuring the students of TASQ Art. Those of you listening in from last year in season one would have heard the graduating class of 2024-2025, and in this episode we're delighted to present the class of 2025-2026. For the past number of weeks, they've been studying with Samantha Brooks as a part-time fiction workshop series, and they've been learning how to develop read and write short fiction, including their own short stories, which you'll be hearing read by the authors themselves in today's episode. These stories will be collected as part of the Academy's Prose anthology TASQ Tales, and look for Volume 2 coming out this summer, featuring artwork and cover artwork by the students of the Academy as well who are reading the stories. And now I'm going to pass over to the lecturer for this series of courses, Samantha Brooks, who's going to introduce each piece and author as well. Over to you, Samantha.
Thank you, Owen. I'm Samantha Brooks, the instructor of this fiction workshop. I'm very excited to introduce all of these wonderful and very talented students reading some of their original work. We are going to start with a story called The Underappreciated Toys, written and read by Amanda Doran.
Oh my God, somebody's coming, Franz announced with a breathy delivery. The bathroom door burst open, sending a sharp beam of warm light into the darkened room. Hurry up, Harry, my nose is gushing blood, God damn it, Charlotte yelled from the kitchen. Harry frantically unraveled and gathered a big wad of toilet paper, rushing out of the room just as quickly as he entered, leaving a sliver of light peeking into the empty bathroom. Oh, why? Come on, it's bath time. I really thought he was coming in to take a bath. I need to catch up with G.I. Joe and see what's been happening in the main room. Franz let out a disappointed hiss from his air hole located on the base of his rounded blue plastic body. You're a friggin' rubber duck. What do you expect, Franzie boy? Nobody in the history of the universe wants to play with a rubber duck. That's for real toys, remember? We should be so lucky. Be thankful we'll outlive a lot of other toys, being left to gather dust until all the kids at least hit their early 20s, Frank announced. Cheer up, little ducky. You know we are essential to most households. That's an honor. Not every household has a G.I. Joe or Tiny Tears. We are special. Felicia always tried her best to comfort Franz. She shuffled her firm pink form next to Franz and offered him comfort in the only way she could, slightly leaning against him as she unfortunately had no posable appendages. This is how it always went. Franz would get himself worked up. Felicia calms him down. Frank was sometimes helpful, sometimes not. What do you expect from a rubber duck that spends most of its existence slowly growing a coaggy film of unrinsed soap scum, having its backside slowly bleached by the natural sunlight that beats down day in, day out on these little necessary bath time accoutrements? Franz would often imagine what it must be like to be in the main room where all the action happened. How many wonderful scenarios of warfare, robot and alien attacks, and inevitably mingling with the smoking hot Barbie dolls. Alas, they are left in wait, a cheerful ornament that is often overlooked. Occasionally bobbing laps of the ceramic bathtub, engulfed by giant fuzzy blobs being forced underwater only to delicately shoot back up to the surface. I mean, that is quite an enjoyable activity. Sometimes, if they're lucky, the Barbies and the G.I. Joes go on vacation to the oversized ceramic hot tub, and there certainly is action involving drownings, deep sea explorations, and underwater battles. So maybe it's not so bad being a rubber duck after all. It has a sole purpose within a unique location, and let's face it, what other plastic molded animal shapes would be appropriate for floating along the surface of a mundane, much-loathed childhood ritual? We serve our purpose, Ducky, and that's all that matters. We are lucky we are what we are, for no other toy is as perfect for this place as we are. Felicia nodded and smiled in the direction of Franz, whose smooth, bright blue form nestled back into alignment with his two companions, eagerly awaiting on the moonlit window ledge for the next time their service was required to distract from one of life's many dreaded essentials rituals.
Now we have Untitled, written and read by Craig Dowling.
Melting bars of rain streak the front window of the place that I'm wasting my last 45 minutes in. It's a decent place, Thai. They keep boxes of disposable cutlery in a crate next to the urinal, so avoid any of the plastic. Food is solid though. Kitchen is run by a 5'2" terror who you can hear screaming from the dining area floor above. It's surprisingly difficult to get good duck noodle soup in Dublin, so I'll keep showing up regardless. My dinner date is close to an hour late when I see him round the corner across the road. Stopping check for cars on a pedestrianised street. Halfway through crossing, he lights up a joint big enough to see from his seat. As always, it'll at least be an interesting conversation. Stopping to look through the window, he sees me and jumps. He points to the blunt between his fingers, and I wave him off. Shrugging, he turns his back to me. A shin-high terrier from the newsagents next door waddles to a rust-speckled bollard, cocks its leg and starts pissing. The dog continues on to Tommy. He throws his head back and laughs. Opening the restaurant door, shaking his wet leg and still laughing, he stubs the blunt off the brickwork the door set into. Tommy sits across the table from me, and I'm already annoyed by him. Can you take those fucking glasses off, please? I'm amazed he listens, but he does, and he takes them off at least. Cheap imitation aviators make him look like a knockoff porno version of a state trooper. A vape pen appears in his hand, presumably from the breast pocket on that god-awful Hawaiian shirt he keeps wearing. His face obscured by a hanging cloud of thin white vape trail. Nice to see you too. It's been ages. I cracked the fortune cookie in my palm. Yeah, sorry about that. I've been busy. Busy or just avoiding me? A bit both, I reckon. Fair, he replies. You up to anything interesting? Honestly, no. Just in college, so back and forth to there. Then I'm doing this online course. You enjoying it? I took my level palm left and right. So. You doing anything? Honestly, no. Just in the detective business part-time at this point. Still trying to make it happen. You left in the desire kind of went out with me. Missed having something to turn and talk to, you know? I reluctantly agree. I do, actually. I remember to brush the cookie crumbs off my hand. Look, I'd be lying to you if I said I asked you here for just a friendly chat. Great, I'm terrible at those. I'm fully aware. Few gulps of water give me the metal to keep going. I think we should work together again. Not that I think splitting was a mistake. I just think all in all, when it's balanced out, we work better together. He cracks a sly smile. I don't disagree. Leaning back in the chair, tracing his hair behind his ears. So what now? We shake hands and I disappear into a puff of smoke. You'd probably enjoy that. The laugh catches the breath in his throat, then he starts hacking. Rubbing circles with a fist in his chest, almost collapsed onto the back of the chair. Been a while since I laughed like that. Let's take it as a positive omen. He stands up, flips open his wallet, and leaves a few bills on the table. Thanks for the invite. Looking forward to getting the train back on track. He opens the door back out onto the street. The rain picks up. To the point he's swallowed by it. I don't see him round the corner. When the rain clears, he's gone. The money he left for the bill is gone too. The waiter drops off my duck soup, and I'm back to reality.
Next we have Johnny, written and read by Diego Sierra.
Johnny was the fastest of us. The wind smelled his farts as he raced to win village marathons. His shadow couldn't catch up to him on the football pitch. Misery, though, didn't race after him, as they both had always gone everywhere, hand in hand. When his house went up for sale, I couldn't but check the online advertisement. Photographers specialize in making the small spaces bigger and the dark ones brighter for these realtor websites. No filter nor editing software was capable of softening the ghosts of despair plastered on those walls. I can't tell if there was hunger in the home, but I know for a fact that there were victims. Was Johnny quick and nimble enough to outrun his father's belt? I think so, yes. Thing is, if the whip danced towards his younger sister, Johnny might have run towards that fiery leak of leather. Our beginnings were at what the Romans called the end of the world. We grew up in a rural village in northwestern Spain. We did so part-time, as we would go to the city during weekdays. So did Johnny. Even though his city was smaller, the big town football team noticed him. Every last one of us had dreamt of playing for that team, but teenage dreams are killed by walking, and nothing keeps you walking away from life as drugs do. After all, We come from a place that pities not its suicidal cases, but buries them with colorful tombstones and criticizes them for taking free tries. The speed Mother Nature gave Johnny got him into the team's sights, whilst the speed, coke, and pills from his dealer friends got him out. Being badass is a leather jacket. It gives you an edgy look, but doesn't cover the cult of responsibility. Shed the garments on with the threat of despair, or else wear that grip forever. The leather jacket make him look good in his early 20s. Just dog so much that they try it on. One wouldn't take it off, not even when pregnant, thinking it was a shield against the drugs. Turns out that taking drugs during pregnancy always backfires. Vice was your sin, so your son was born without functioning legs. The girl left with the kid. They didn't need to run, as you were going nowhere, clutching that leather jacket as if rubbing your shaking hands against it would grant wishes. Did you ask to be slower? As you outran dreams, family, and lovers, nothing ever caught up to you but your father's whip, made from the same rawhide as your jacket. Both of them born you steel. Finally, the jacket it made you look so good in your 30s that another girl saw her own body at your request in exchange of trying it on. You rented her out. You made her a whore because your body craved junk over her love. It was no surprise then that when the police got you, they let you wear your fancy leather jacket in jail, always looking sharp at the time of exercise. Was it 5 or 10 years? Most likely less, even though all you did inside was to flex. Were you never privy to the secrets of our forefathers, to how end of life can happen at the beginning? Was there ever a goal other than the one on the football grounds? Did you live for something else than to have fun? Now you no longer run, but lay in the small city on the big square, drinking 2 dozen cans of the cheapest beer ever made every day.
Finally, we have Compatibility, written in red by Yaya.
Your date is an organ trafficker. Even the mention of his work has the most prestigious hospitals sweating and the roughest gangs balking. That's why your department decided to star you in a terrible script of an undercover mission that only exists on cheap TV. Staging a first encounter was almost too easy. All it took was a ticket to the biggest medical research conference, a few quick words or small chat, and an exchangeable number that is surprisingly responsive. You two agreed to a restaurant not far from the station. Your heart only races faster when you see him approach you from the street with a smile, standing a head shorter than you, wearing parted hair and a standard palette of formal blacks, needless to say, indistinguishable from any other man on the street. You find some relief in seeing the streets littered with blackened cars and tinted windows as he recites his fake name and booking to the receptionist. What did you say your work was? He asks as he pulls your chair for you. Analyst in consulting, you lie. It's mostly just data collecting. And you? Recruitment, he lies as well. I find the right people for my clients' needs. You chuckle. You sound more like a matchmaker. He hums, of sorts. The waiter brings the drinks menu and he selects a whiskey. You suggest a bottle. You're not going to risk a different drink. Thankfully, he agrees, and the waiter comes out with a tall amber Macallan and a bucket of ice. You fill your cup with cubes and liquor after he does, and you touch his glass with a clink. You watch as he tips and sips, and you follow suit when he returns to stare. The alcohol cuts down your throat, and you swallow a wince with a smile. You give your glass a swirl. Just looking at this drink, you must be finding some stellar people for your clients. He chuckles. It all comes down to the research. I'm sure it's the same for you. What kind of research? Skills, experiences? Sometimes. Status and history are factored in too, but more importantly, my clients are usually looking for a certain type. Type? He sets his glass down. Yes, compatibility is the most important factor of all. You chuckle. And how do you figure that out? You take them all out on dates too? Heavens no. He laughs gently. This is special, I promise. Your face feels hot. Must be the damn alcohol. You hide your face in the menu and frown at the trailing text of starters and mains. You tell yourself to remember the ever-growing missing persons report on your desk and the soul-sinking dread of finding their bodies in those plastic bags in warehouses. This is no time to get comfortable. There is a serial murder in front of you. Would you mind if I made some choices first? You look back at him. I blink. He shrugs. I'm a vegetarian. Oh, you close your menu. I'm curious, is there a reason why? He plays with the corner of his menu, hiding behind his sheepish smile. I can't stomach the sight of meat, actually. As you watch him make his order, you remember the pictures. Hundreds of filleted corpses, graying edges of flesh and rib, fingers with white nails and cardboard skin. They were always clean, always neat, always professionally prepared. You down more of your glass to drown the rising bile on your tongue. He moves a hand across the table to throw the ice out before pouring himself more liquor. You look down at your own empty glass, temples throbbing, head numb. Would you like more? He asks. No, thank you. You add more ice. Just water will be fine. No worries. He calls the waiter back. Spirits are never easy on the body, I find. You smile through your migraine. The ice water really doesn't help. Sounds like you've got experience or addiction. He chuckles. It's the clients, he admits. Their requests are rarely negotiable, unfortunately. Oftentimes they come in an emergency. There's little time for discussion. You roll your eyes. I'm sure the pay is great. He shakes his head. That kind of cash doesn't make a comfortable bed. You let your eyes soften. Sleep doesn't come to you? He brings his glass to his lips. Terribly so. You watch him down his drink in 1/5 gulp. The restaurant light above hits behind his lowered head, missing him entirely, leaving him cast in his own pale shadow. This man doesn't deserve anything but the worst. He is singularly responsible for hundreds, if not thousands, of missing sons, daughters, spouses, and friends, leaving many empty and hollow in his wake. But right now, he is a man who looks tied up and torn, made to work and please. And there's still that young, bright cadet in you who went to the academy because you wanted to help. You gently place a warm hand on his. He looks up, surprise in his eyes. You don't have to stick with your job if you don't like it, you say. I'm sure your skills could be transferable anywhere else. You could always change. He stares at your hand. Then he tries softly, cautiously. Do you really think so? You nod. It's never too late. For a long moment, he stays still, eyebrows furrowed, training his gaze on your hand. Then he breathes out, almost silently, and closes his eyes. He runs a thumb over yours, and you feel a tinge of warmth against your skin. You let him. It might be the alcohol in your veins or that throbbing ache in your temples, but at this very moment, he appears human. You let him stay like this, and he opens his eyes and gazes back at you. Thank you, he says sincerely. You're far too kind, officer. You're about to return a smile before... Excuse me? I said, you're far too kind. His stare turns strong. Officer. You freeze. You can do nothing but freeze. You can't move your hand or face or anything. Your eyes dart around quickly to find where the danger will come from. There's no other people nearby, no weapons, just the shared food, the shared whiskey bottle, the shared bucket of ice, the melted ice in your glass. No. He squeezes your immobile hand as you find your torso falling forward, no longer in control of your own weight. Don't panic, you hear. It's a sleeper. Goes straight to the mind, leaves the rest of you untouched, unnoticeable, comfortable. He catches your cheek tenderly before your face hits the table. You hear the drag of his chair and the click of his Oxfords. As thanks for your company, I wanted to let you in on an opportunity, he says. I'm sure it'll convince you to take it. Fatigue places a warm hand over your eyes as you feel him drape his jacket over your slumped body. A gentleman. You see, I know a kind senior who loves the finest taste, he continues. Unfortunately for him, his liver can't keep up. He's quite desperate for a good match. And you know what? In the darkness, you feel his lips on your ear. You're exactly his type.
Brilliant. Thanks very much, everyone, to all our readers. Thanks to Craig, Diego, Amanda, and also to Yaya as well, and of course their teacher Samantha. And if you've enjoyed today's episode and would like to hear more short fiction, you can go back to Season 1, Episode 7 and hear the class of 2024-2025 read those stories. TASQ Tales Volume 1 is also available in print and as a digital copy via the Light and Strike Comics web store. All stories read today are copyright of the respective authors, and Creator in Conversation is a copyright production of Macaulay Consultancy 2026. If you've enjoyed today's episode, please consider liking and subscribing. Until next time.